World's most advanced fighter aircraft F-35 manufactured in United States of America was never meant to be seen. However, news reports have said that it was struck by Iranian fire. So is it really true? And if it indeed is true, does it mean F-35 is really vulnerable, or did Iranians have developed some sort of defense system, air defense system, which can even bypass stealth technology? What is the reality behind this entire development, and what are the lessons we have to learn as a nation who are trying to manufacture next generation fighter aircraft? Let us try to understand this in this particular video. So first of all, to give you the context about F-35, why F-35 matters, because as we have discussed, it is considered as one of the most advanced fighter jet available in the world today. It is part of the fifth generation stealth fighter. Fifth generation means it is the latest generation. Stealth means that it is not easier to detect this aircraft even if it is moving in your airspace, because it has very low radar visibility. That is done by using several methods, such as use of coating that does not allow radio wave to get reflected, allowing such kind of structures and frame. The angles are bent in the aircraft in such a manner that radio waves get refracted rather than getting reflected. Thus, it cannot be captured back by radar, and the position of this aircraft will no longer be accessible. Advanced sensors and data fusion is something that is characteristic and key characteristics of this particular aircraft. It does not fight alone, it does not work alone. Rather, it is one of the important node in the entire network centric warfare that countries today are focused upon. So it keeps on sharing and receiving information from various other systems scattered in the battlefield, whether it is the radars, whether it is the United States naval ships, or whether it is in the ground stations and observations. Electronic warfare capability is with which this aircraft is fully suited with, and it is designed to avoid detection. That is its most unique selling point, or USP as such. It should not have been detected if it was flying above the Iranian airspace. It is in this context now we have seen a report coming where Iranian government, Iranian military has claimed that it targeted and it has hit effectively and successfully F-35 aircraft of United States. Now, the question is that if it is true, again, the official statement and data has not been released by United States of America, US government, US military. They have not made any confirmation about it. But if indeed it was it, that means to some extent Iranian defense system, missile system challenges the stealth supremacy that F-35 was claiming to have. Advanced radar systems, infrared tracking, network detection, all this is something that this aircraft is capable to do. That's why it's also called a next generation or most advanced fifth generation aircraft as such. But also one thing we have to keep in mind, many times we come to think that if the aircraft has stealth technology, it means it is completely invisible. However, it is not effectively true. Stealth does not automatically equate with invisibility. It means radar signature is low, detecting and tracking it becomes quite difficult, and that is not equal to invisibility. So practically still aircraft could have come up on the radars of the Iranian military as such. If we try to understand the strategic and military impact, that means Iran, if it has been able to successfully hit F-35, it means they have much more stronger air defense signal as compared to before, or as expected by the US and Israel. Second, now the US and Israel in this particular war has continuously claimed that they enjoy air superiority over Iran. What it means that they can fly as many sorties. Sorties means the fighter jet aircraft. They can fly as much as they want to Iran. Iran would not be able to do anything because US and Israel claim they have completely decimated the air defense system or the missile launching capability of Iran. Now F-35 got hit. That means it does not mean that Iranian airspace is free to roam around. There is still some challenges. There is still the issue, the possibility of strike. Reduced air dominance that we have discussed, US and Israel, they would now be more careful, and the air dominance which they were claiming earlier, that definitely has been reduced. Higher risk and the cost of war would now increase, and this sends a major strategic signal in which direction the war can now move. Now, the question is that in the midst of all this news report that has claimed that Iran was successfully able to intercept, track, and then hit the F-35 aircraft, the question that comes to mind is, can a fighter jet land after being hit? Because there is no report of F-35 wreckage falling everywhere in the Iran as such. That means even after being hit, F-35 was able to land successfully to the nearest base. So the fact check analysis tried to do case was F-35 reportedly hit by air defense. The focus is on physics, design and real world evidence. So let us try to understand this technically, that how does air missile system work. So first of all, the most air defense missile that is fired uses proximity fuse. What it means is that even if aircraft is flying over the Iranian space, and if Iranian military want to intercept it, it would not use the technique that we can call as direct hit technique, that when missile would collide with the aircraft and aircraft would be destroyed. They would use some technique that is called as proximity fuse. What it means is that as soon as the missile comes in the close vicinity of the aircraft, the fuse simply explodes near the target. And the fuse explodes, missile then send a large number of shrapnels all around, and few of these shrapnels can then hit the aircraft as such. It cannot be equated with a direct hit. Direct hit would always be deadly. 99.9% chances that if a missile is directly hitting any aircraft, it would definitely be destroyed. In this case, since hit was confirmed by Iranian military, they would have used proximity fuses. Some of the shrapnels would have impacted the aircraft and damage could have been caused by these high-speed shrapnels. So whenever such kind of weapon is used, it often damages the aircraft in this case, but does not completely destroy it. And if it is not completely destroyed, it will be able to land to the nearest base. And that's what would have happened in this particular case. Now, if you try to look at the aircraft survivability design, the modern aircraft, more specifically the costliest weapon system that the aircraft system that US has developed, F-35 reportedly has run over more than $2 to $3 trillion as far as this entire development program is concerned. 450 to 500 billion dollars of cost already was taken into account as such. So that means that it has several features that it can be still able to fly even if it is hit by such kind of shrapnels. These are redundant control systems, self-sealing fuel tanks. If fuel tanks are damaged, there is a provision how the fuel tank can be self-sealed. That means the fuel leakage can be avoided. Fire suppression system, if because of shrapnel related damage in some part of aircraft, if fire has taken place, especially if it is not the critical part of aircraft such as engine, but fire has taken place suppose in the wing, the outer part, in that case suppression system can reduce and this extinguish the fire. And because of such kind of advanced system, the aircraft can fly even with a partial system failure. And it is not going to be the first case if it is indeed has happened. We have several such real world examples. For example, we have seen in the Gulf or Iraq war, many US jets were hit by the by the Iranian air defense system, but they're able to return back. Israeli aircraft recently landed after suffering heavy damage. A-10 aircraft survived extreme battle damage. So just because an aircraft is damaged, it does not mean that it would immediately go and crash and get destroyed. It still will have airworthiness, that means the ability to survive. So in what cases survival is possible? First, there are several ways how shrapnels coming out from exploding fuse and missile can hit them. If shrapnel has hit a non-critical areas such as wing, fuselage, then airworthiness would be maintained. No major explosion, because if the engine catches fire or the entire fuel tank of aircraft catches fire, in that case there would be explosion, aircraft cannot survive. Engine is still partially functional, because for the aircraft to receive thrust is still able to fly, one of the engine at least should be functional in nature. And next, and the most important, pilot should be able to retain the control. Otherwise, the pilot loses the control of aircraft, if none of the important and critical systems are functioning, then pilot would have no other option but to eject, and aircraft would then definitely fall down, resulting into the crashes, and then you would have definitely visible wreckage as such. So in the case of F-35, it seems that even if Iran was able to successfully hit it, this hit would be of non-critical nature, affecting only the non-important or non-core component of the aircraft. When aircraft is lost, that is exact reverse of the earlier scenario. The direct hit to cockpit or engine, fuel explosion or fire that would convert the entire aircraft into nothing but a fireball and a charred remains, a structural breakup mid-air, and loss of control system. That means pilot would completely lose control, and there was no other option but to crash the aircraft as such. Now, in this case, F-35 context, it is advanced aircraft, but again we have to keep in mind, no aircraft is indestructible in nature. And that's why even if it enjoys stealth feature, it is not completely invisible. It would keep on coming up on the radar system every now and then, because you know that the way how radio waves are reflected, even if not all radio waves are reflected, even if some radio waves are getting reflected here and there on the radar, they can show up. and the damage would be of near miss nature. That's why aircraft was able to survive. If there was a direct hit by the Iranian air defense system, then it would have proven fatal for this aircraft. Thus, the final verdict, what we can say is that yes, survival and landing of aircraft even after being hit is possible, and that has taken place because it depends on the severity of damage. It depends on the component which has been targeted, the structure, how we can say strong is the structure after being hit as such. So claim is plausible, but again not confirmed. But the important thing we have to keep in mind here is not whether F-35 was hit and was able to land, but to what extent the stealth aircraft is able to get detected on the radars as such. Because USP, again to repeat, F-35 USPs was a stealth feature, and even if having such advanced stealth feature, it is able to come up on the enemy's radar, if it is able to be detected by the Iranian regime, Iranian military as such, then to some extent it raises question about its worthiness. So that's all about this particular video. If you like the video, please like and share with your friends, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.